Living Local Carolina with Katie Turner. Local trends, shopping, dining, and more. This is Living Local Carolina.
Welcome back to Living Local Carolina. Today I'm joined by Dr. Anthony Thompson. How are you doing?
Doing quite well, Katie. And yourself?
I'm doing wonderful.
First of all, we got the name came from Ephesians, 2nd chapter. Ephesians talks about him dying to bring the two together as one new humanity. And we had an event. Our first event was November the 20th of 2022. The first night we had a revival. And the reason behind the revival is a good story behind that. It was a church on Aston Street. Right now it's St. John Reformed Episcopal Church. But in the 1800s, it was a Presbyterian church. But it was an integrated Presbyterian church. They had like 12 whites, 12 blacks, and about 48 whites. Anyway, he caught a lot of flack behind it. The pastor's name was Gerardo. And he wanted to do something similar to what we're talking about right now. He wanted to unite the city of Charleston. Yeah, so he had a revival, and a three-day revival. And on that third night, it describes him preaching like a shock of electricity with the Holy Spirit, of course. And when that Spirit hit him, it changed everything. Because the very next day, you hear what I'm saying? The very next day, every church in Charleston increased their membership. Every church increased their membership. Yeah, it's a written fact.
That is crazy.
It's a written fact, yeah. And then what happened was, it was like the Spirit hit and just kept on going. As far as on the East Coast, from Charleston all the way to New York, over 1 million people got saved from that revival. And so the next day we went to 7 different landmarks in the city of Charleston. One of the landmarks was the Battery.
White Point Gardens?
White Point Garden. Because that's the place where a lot of brothers fought brothers. Well, like 600,000 soldiers died right there in that spot. So that was a spot of hostility, you know. So we went there to pray, and it was over having slaves. You know what I mean? So we prayed there that God would, change their hearts. You can't change what happened,
Of course.
but He can change the hearts of the people today, so that they will no longer perpetuate the hostility that took place there. Instead of hostility, let's talk about some peace. Then we went from there to Four Corners of Law, the same thing. You're talking about Four Corners of Law where all these beautiful buildings were basically built, you understand, on the backs of slaves.
Yeah.
Free labor, which was an injustice. Then we went to the Exchange Building where, pretty much where the slaves came in at, praying about what happened there. Then we marched to the United States Customs House, of course, where the money came in from the transatlantic slave trade, and the Caribbean barons, who profited off of slavery. And then, of course, we went back to St. John's. Then we marched to Emmanuel, and you know what happened there. Then we marched to Marion Square. That's where we ended the march. Marion Square was the pinnacle point where everybody had the opportunity to express acts of penance, for the next event. Yeah, and so pretty much that's what it consisted of.
Powerful day.
Yeah, powerful day. We had people to join in, with us along the way.
Maybe didn't know that the event was happening.
Have no idea.
There you go.
Then I had some friends of mine who actually like watching it on TV, and they came running out there. I mean, like joining in, yeah.
I mean, that.
Who I hadn't seen in years, and taking the flags and things out of my hands. I'm trying to figure who are these people. And then I realized people I knew from previous years.
We'll be back right after this break with more Living Local Carolina.
Guys, welcome to Atlantic Beach. I am chatting with Patricia, who is a historian and knows everything about this area. How are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. And you?
I'm doing great. I want you to teach me what Atlantic Beach is all about. There's a very rich history here.
Yes, Atlantic Beach was founded in 1934 by a guy named George W. Tyson. He came from Wilmington, North Carolina. He had been in the war, and as a result, he decided that he was going to come here. There was a guy named R.V. Ward that sold him the first two streets, 29th Avenue and 30th Avenue, for $2,000. Okay? 1934 was a time of depression, so of course he didn't have a lot of money, but he was able to gather money from his wife's family, which was the Baldwin family, out of Conway, South Carolina, and they were able to get them the money. A few years later, there was a lady named Viola Bell that she wanted to sell the next two streets, which is 30th, 1st and 32nd.
Okay.
And so she sold it to him for $600, but it had a mortgage on it, and he had to take up the mortgage. Now, he was able to do very well for a few years with that, but he got into some financial problems, and he had to set up an organization called the Atlantic Beach Company. And the Atlantic Beach Company, he was a smart man to first see that he was in financial problems and he needed to resolve that. So he got the doctors, the lawyers, the dentists, the professors, president of universities, the top blacks during that time to buy land, particularly on this street right here in front of us,
Okay.
and which is Ocean Boulevard, and this street here. Okay, and so they bought this. And I think his intentions was, you know what, these other people have money, and maybe they could keep paying off whatever they need to do to maintain this. And he was true about. Another thing he was also very particular about on the ocean front was to make sure he put in the deeds there would be, on most of these lots here, no type of, he didn't say it was high rise, but he said it would only be residential, where houses could be built. And that purpose was so that you would have the view, basically, of the ocean. And today, since 1934, there have only been two buildings, the Gordon Motel and also Holiday Motel, that was here. In 1954, although the Gordon Motel was one of the most fabulous motels for the black people during this time. This is a period of segregation, so we didn't have any place to come to, because they wouldn't allow us unless we were working as babysitters or cooks or maids or something in the motels in Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach. We had no place else to come. He decided to make this a place where blacks could come. And like I said, he made sure he wanted that ocean view to be reserved for anyone who wants to come and live on. And he put it in the deeds. And that's why today, even though they put two motels, different governments was able to allow the Gordon and that one there. 1954, Hazel knocked the Gordon Motel down, and it was later on when Hugo came along, it finally knocked the rest of this down. But before that happened, they had all kinds of things here. It was like an amusement park.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you had all kinds of like Ferris wheels, merry-go-rounds, bumper cars, anything you could think of, like the arcades and stuff would have. They had this. People came here every weekend and celebrated, and these streets were packed. This is Main Street, Main Street. It was packed with people who came. They got here any way they could. They said that people had actually trucks, flatbed trucks. They jumped on those. Some of the people came at even earlier time with horse and buggy, just to enjoy the water, to enjoy themselves for the amazement of enjoying the beach. And so many businesses started along the streets and stuff.
This portion of Living Local Carolina is sponsored by Amazon. Hey, welcome back to Living Local Carolina, everyone. Today I'm with Griffin Buck, and we're talking how you can save some money. You're a prime savings expert, so how can people save money, first of all, at the pump?
Well, at the pump, Prime members can save 10 cents per gallon at participating BP, Amoco, AM, PM, and Thornton's locations. There's more than 7,500 of them nationwide. Another couple of tips, though, is make sure that your tires are inflated all the way and take those heavy items out of the car. They're great ways to save a little money on gas and put that money back in your pocket. Super easy to get started with Prime fuel savings, though. Just go to amazon.com/fuel savings.
Love that, but also, entertaining during the summer can add up. You've got a lot of great stuff around you. How can people save on groceries as well?
Absolutely. Well, I like to let same-day delivery do the heavy lifting. Prime members get free same-day delivery on orders over $25 in most areas, and Amazon's got everyday low prices on the widest selection of items with prices that meet or beat many other major retailers. It's incredible. For example, this summer we've got great prices on Amazon grocery ground beef burgers for under $10 or Amazon grocery chicken thighs. We've also got party hosting essentials like these chips starting at just $2. And of course, you can't forget about the essential summer produce for under $4. It's truly a fantastic deal.
I was going to ask about people who are receiving SNAP benefits, some healthy options as well, right?
Absolutely, and it's incredibly important, which is why Amazon offers discounted membership to government assistance recipients and income verified customers at 50% off, more than 50% off the monthly cost of Prime. We also this summer are offering a $5 credit to Prime Access members on everyday essential grocery items. Those are things like pantry staples, baby food, breakfast items, and snacks. That's on orders over $25. Folks can go check out Amazon Access to explore other ways to save money on groceries.
All right, Griffin, thank you so much. Where can our viewers go to learn more information?
It's super easy. Just go to amazon.com/prime to explore all the fantastic benefits of Prime and get started on your grocery savings for the summer.
This portion of Living Local Carolina is sponsored by Amazon. Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today on Living Local Carolina. If your love language is gifts, you definitely want to listen up to this one because I'm joined with Tammy. You are from Gifts from the Heart.
Yes, I am.
What a great name.
Thank you, thank you.
And it really is exactly what you do. We have all these props to show what exactly you do, but explain it to me and what our viewers can do to help what you guys do.
Okay, Gifts from the Heart is an organization I started in 2018 when my mom was diagnosed with dementia. And when I went to visit her in the nursing home, I realized that there's so many residents in there that don't have family members to come and visit them. And it just broke my heart. So I decided that I want them to know they're not forgotten. So during all the holidays, Valentine's Day, Easter, Christmas, Mother's Day, Father's Day, I go and I give to residents in nursing homes with dementia and Alzheimer's. You know, I give them these items, which are everyday items that they need. That way they know they're not forgotten, even though they're not going to remember me from one minute to the next, which is fine, as long as they know that they're not forgotten.
I think it's really awesome what you do, and sometimes it's the littlest things that make such a difference in
Yes,
someone's day.
yes, just to see the smile on their faces, it makes me so happy. It does.
So how have things gone over the last couple of years? I'm sure people have started donating to you.
They do donate, which is very nice because I work out of my home, and we're in really dire need of certain items like blankets. The residents need blankets.
Okay, blankets.
Socks, shampoo, cream rinse, deodorant. We also do fidget blankets, which you have on your lap. Residents, they like to, with dementia and Alzheimer's, they like to fidget a lot. So they like to touch items that feel different to them in texture. So, and we have these items for them, but we're mainly in need of everyday items. And they love puzzles with big pieces that they can hold. And they love their snacks. They love chocolate and little soft peppermints. Items like that we're in need of.
We'll be back right after this break with more Living Local Carolina.
Well, thanks so much for joining us today on Living Local Carolina. Today I have a special treat. I'm joined by Cecile Walks-Peace. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We have a lot to talk about today. First, we're going to talk about this book that you recently wrote, your first debut when it comes to children's books.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. This is Gigi's Gems, The Queen, and it is a children's picture book beautifully illustrated by Cameron Wilson. And it talks a little bit about 3 children and their queen, their great-grandmother, Gigi.
And this has a very special meaning in your life, right?
It does. So this book is loosely based on my mom. My mom is dealing right now with dementia, and it talks about how families can approach, can process, and can persevere through some pretty tough topics.
This is something that's super important for children to learn.
Yes.
How do you do that in the book?
So this particular book, this is book 1 in a series of 5 books, right? So this first book allows the reader to just fall in love with the characters, fall in love with the idea of family, fall in love with the idea of the genius of children, and kindness, which our world really needs more of. And in doing so, the children who love mostly on their grandmother and her regal attire and her way that she presents herself, they are able to learn a lifetime of memories, of Gigi's amazing memories, by unlocking her memories with a specific key that's revealed in the text.
Okay, I don't want you to give too much away, but
Yes.
Can you tell me what Gigi's Gems are?
Right.
Are they actual gems, or are they? Okay, they're gems.
Yes,
very cool.
So my mom, Irma Walks, she, by anyone who knows her, knows that she always has this regal stature about her. She's always draped in gems. She is beautifully brown. She's head to toe sharp, as the kids would say. So her gems, each of them has a particular meaning, right? Each of them has a particular story. So when the children land on that, that's when they discover her waterfall of memories.
That is beautifully put. Beautifully put. Okay, so tell me, what is the plan for the future?
So the plan for the future with Gigi's Gems, The Queen, and the subsequent books that follow is to allow the world to have more awareness around Alzheimer's as well as dementia. I believe right now the association says that there are over 6 million families that are dealing with this particular disease. And having the opportunity, my mom's an educator, I'm an educator, and to have that opportunity to educate children around topics that are tough, families that are themselves trying to process something that's extremely difficult. And oftentimes when those difficult, tough topics happen, we tend to go a little silent when it comes to our children, right? We just don't talk about certain things. It's the adult world. This is the perfect launching pad for families to be able to understand, to process, to persevere through topics like dementia.
Let's talk about your history as an author. You are an educator, Teacher of the Year, but you've been writing for quite some time.
I have been writing for a bit, yes. So about 2 decades ago, I had a friend of mine ask me to just co-author, or better yet, I would like to say ghostwrite behind her on a particular text. And from that point on, I've been on a couple of other projects over the years, primarily in education for myself, but still doing this. And you know, God doesn't waste anything. So tackling the education of children, my love for science, and then the opportunity to ghostwrite with other fellow authors who are amazing, and then to land with an illustrator like Cameron Wilson, it was just perfect moment altogether.
All worked out perfectly.
Yes, it did, thank God.
Okay, so for the people that are interested in purchasing Gigi's Gems, The Queen, where can they do that?
Online, Target, Amazon, and Barnes & Noble. And primarily our website, walksinpeace.com. Come check us out.
Don't forget to like our page on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. How to use the QR code. Just open the camera app on your smartphone, iPad, or tablet. Point your device at the QR code so the QR code appears on your screen. Your device will recognize the QR code and show you a notification. Click that notification and you'll come to our website. Living Local Carolina, weekday mornings at 9:30 on WBTW News 13.